Israel Adesanya made history in Saturday's UFC 287 headliner when he brutally knocked out Alex Pereira to become the first two-time middleweight champion in UFC history. Exercises his demons against Pereira in this fight. We all know what happened in their previous three bouts between kickboxing and the UFC. Pereira in November becoming the only middleweight in history to hand Adesanya a loss. He manages to come back in this fight, and it was looking dicey in the first round and early in the second. Pereira having a lot of success with the kicks once again and backing Adesanya up into the fence, and then just a crazy sequence where Izzy manages to land a huge shot for the knockout finish and reclaims that middleweight title. And now it becomes very interesting in terms of what happens from here. Adesanya saying at the post-fight press conference that he is not interested in doing a MMA trilogy bout with Pereira. He thinks he needs to earn that opportunity, go back and get some wins over some ranked middleweights. We all know that there's some potentially tough matchups there, but also hinting that Pereira can move up to 205 pounds, something that was further enforced by UFC President Dana White, who said he thinks Pereira is going up and he's not really too keen on booking a trilogy right now. And if that is not the case, what is next for Adesanya? We know he's cleaned out most of these other middleweights, 2 wins over Robert Whittaker, who most of us would agree is the most worthy contender at this point, 2 wins over Marvin Vettori. Not a lot of fresh blood for him in that top 5 range right now, and you just wonder what the UFC is going to come up with. Of course, Khamzat Chimaev, if he does move to 185, is lingering there. Will they put him against Whittaker for a title eliminator? Will they put him right into a title shot potentially because Adesanya is lacking new competition? The one that kind of does stand out that could be interesting, and not much note taken of it after the fact, Jan Blachowicz calling out Adesanya for a rematch and saying that he would move down to 185 pounds to run that back. Of course, we know he is the only other fighter to defeat Adesanya in MMA competition, and if he is willing to come down to 185, I think that is a pretty compelling fight. It makes a lot of sense. I don't know if he can make that weight, but if this is serious, I think that's something the UFC should take a very hard look at, because there's not a ton of other options that are super logical right now. Personally, I would love it if Pereira did stay at 185 and not go to 205, and they do this trilogy fight, because I think there's a lot of intrigue based on how this fight unfolded as well. How would Alex come back from the knockout? All that stuff. That is my number one choice, but I think Blachowicz, a pretty compelling backup, and then after that, Chimaev, Whittaker again. There's some fights to be made, but nothing that really screams out. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the future holds for Israel Adesanya after UFC 287.